It's been a little while since we've said some Patreon thank yous. I think we're due. So thank you very, very much for your support to Joey LeBlanc, Emily Mueller, Parkera, John Howell, Jack Edinburgh. They're the recent new or increased pledges. Thank you. Thank you for your support. If you'd like to get involved in the Patreon, you can do that at patreon.com/Lollujo. Hello and welcome to Club 5 Part 13 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kev, and coming up on today's episode, it's not a triple header as advertised. The Man United game's been moved, I guess because of Champions League stuff. Oh no, because they're in the FA... No, that's us. Goodness me, I don't know where the buttons are. Yeah, because they're in the Champions League semi-final, their game against us has been moved. So it's actually just going to be the FA Cup, just the FA Cup semi-final against Brighton, and then the crucial Premier League game against Liverpool coming up today. And this is how, I mean, we've been in some good form since you were last with me. Unbeaten. We've picked up 3 wins and a draw in the league. The draw, though, was against Brighton, who are now playing. So they've been the hardest team to beat on this little run. We've had some easy games. We don't have any more easy games now. Liverpool, Tottenham, Man United, West Ham are our final 4 league games. But we do find ourselves with those 4 games to go. We're in 3rd place, 4 points clear of Tottenham, and we have a game in hand over them. And we're 5 points clear of Chelsea. We're level on games with them. Liverpool a little bit further behind, but the teams we're playing, I think we've got, did we say Liverpool, Tottenham, Man United, and then I guess West Ham on the final day of the season is the closest to an easy game we've got. But that's all getting ahead of ourselves. Before we worry about the league again, we've got an FA Cup final to book a place in. We're here at Wembley, can't you tell? And no, I'm not wearing a suit because it's only the semi-final. If we get to the final, then I'll put on a suit. This is the team we're putting out there for today's games. We've got Svillar in goal, a back 4 of Leo, Panzo, Oliveira and Ralston, with Portanova, Marco and Suto in midfield, and then Onoma in behind Gwindal and Miller. We have been playing Miller and Paulo Cesar recently, but we rotated the team a little bit for the game against Watford in midweek, and Gwindal got a hat-trick. So I think that's how you earn your way into the FA Cup semi-final. So he's going to partner Miller today. And fingers crossed, we can pull a result out of somewhere. Because I'd very much like an FA Cup final. An FA Cup final would be a nice thing to achieve, especially if it's against Manchester United, because that would then secure us a European spot and take some of the pressure off in the league, I think. I mean, this is where I always get confused. Assuming they finish in the Champions League, which I think mathematically they already have, if they finish in a Champions League spot and then get to the FA Cup final, does that mean the runners up in the FA Cup get the Europa League spot? Or does it go to the next team down in the league? There's a good chance we'll be either of those. I mean, with 4 games to go, it's getting more and more possible that we might actually pull off a Champions League qualification. But I am still thinking in terms of Europa League. That's what we're aiming for. And if we achieve it, we either by the league or the FA Cup, then that is a good season. Completely uneventful first half in the spirit of boring Leicester, which of course is what we've become. We've not had a shot on target in that first half. I can't go on like this. We're going to try and win the game. This might be a massive mistake, but I just cannot sit here at Wembley and not have a shot on target. That's just it shakes me down to my very core. I can't cope. So we're going to try and they've brought on Jerry Gilboy, who, if you recall, they've taken off Gilboy. He was the guy who scored all those goals for West Brom last season, I think, who you lot all told me I should sign. Didn't realise Brighton signed him. I perhaps could have signed him myself if I'd have realised he wasn't going to go to a big club. I assumed someone was going to spend £40 million on him and take him to a big club. But apparently it was just Brighton. Right, we've got a little bit more into it in this second half as we're trying to be a little bit more expansive, but we're still not looking like scoring a goal. We're going to bring on Marcus Edwards. I think I'm going to bring on Cesar as well. We'll save that final substitution because you never know, especially if we have to go into extra time. So try and bring on a couple of players who are potentially game changers and see what they can conjure up. But Brighton are on the attack and they've scored. And we've been so toothless today that I imagine that'll be the last highlight we get, because we just haven't looked like doing anything. We'll push forward to attack. We'll perhaps, I don't know, do we stick the players out wide again? It worked the last time we did it. We'll give it 5 minutes. If we don't get a highlight, right, we're going to try something. What are we going to try? We're going to try this. The advantage of Edwards being the utility man. We talked about using him as a utility man when we first signed him, and we haven't had the opportunity to do it yet, but here you go. We get that opportunity today, and we are just going to push forward a lot. Portanova's not having the best of games. Let's get Storaro on in there as a midfield cruncher, just chasing around all over the place. And I mean, it's different. It's not something we've ever done with Leicester. Let's see if it can get us a goal from somewhere. We're going to be ruined if we do equalise, have to play extra time with this system. Overload. Just have a shot, for goodness sake. Can we have a highlight? They have absolutely bottled this. Nobody has turned up. They're all afraid of Wembley. This is something we need to make a note of this about this Leicester team. All afraid of Wembley. This doesn't bode well for these last 4 games of the season, which are all big games, if they're terrified of big games. Hopefully they are just afraid of Wembley and not afraid of big games in general. Well, that's one option for a fairy tale ending. Gone. Now we need to try and secure that Champions League spot. Forget that nonsense about Europa League being a good season. We want the Champions League now. One change for the Liverpool game, and it is a big one. Jonathan Miller is injured. Where is he? Why do I always have all of the... I could turn that off, which people always tell me to turn off. Of course, but if I have unavailable off, turn off not at club. There you go. That's the one. So Jonathan Miller has a pulled abdominal muscle. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks. Adonis is out for the season now. He's picked up a different injury. It's like Cesar from last season all over again. If we look at Adonis, he was so good earlier in the season. He got his twisted ankle. Then he got a lower back stress fracture. And then as he's recovering from it, pretty much his first match back for the under-23s, picks up a hip injury. So despite this brilliant start to the season and being one of the main reasons we got up into the Champions League positions in the first place, we're going to have to finish the season without him and do a couple of games without Miller. So we're going with Gardner as his replacement. Cesar just not impressing again. We really need to move him on. If we can get half of this... If I can actually click on his name, if we can get half of his value in the summer, I mean, his value is dropping constantly. It was £30 million plus at one point, now down to 16 million quid. If we can get anything above 10, I'd be over the moon with that. So let's get into the game. Massive, massive match against Liverpool. If we can get a result in this game, we're pretty much there, I think. Your Leicester side can, oh, there you go, can book a spot in the Champions League competition proper with a win here. We put ourselves in the best position possible, faith in my players. It happens today that, yeah, we're not thinking about it. We're not thinking about it. I don't want to put the pressure on. But a win today is massive if we can pull it off. So let's try and boring Leicester one more time. Pull off a really unlikely win. And Gardner, it's offside. We didn't even get the goal flash thing come up on screen. Oh, nerves. Nerves aplenty. So presumably that means as long as we win one of our final 3 games. Is that what it means? The maths of the situation is beyond me. I'm too stressed to work out the maths of the thing. But we've got this. I think we've also got to play Tottenham, who are 5th. So, oh, we've scored! Gwyndahl with a score after 11 minutes. With a score? Yeah, with a score. Why not? I'm excited. Champions League would be amazing. Let's have a look at his score from the other angle. Suto plays it into Gwyndahl and bang, score. Go team. What was I saying? I was looking at the league table. So we're playing Liverpool right now. We've still got to play Tottenham. We've still got to play Man United. It's such a difficult run-in that a result in this game would be massive. And Suto's in! And it's 2-0 after 16 minutes. 2 right, run off and celebrate, Suto. That is ridiculous. We've got a game in hand over Liverpool as well. Do we have a game in hand over Tottenham? Presumably it's the Man United game that's the game in hand. Oh, their keeper is not going to be happy with himself there. And we had 2 players queued up to tuck that away. And Suto's the one who picks up the goal. So we have the game in hand over Liverpool. We don't over Tottenham or Man City, but the points gap will be sufficient. Will it? I don't see how it is. I don't get how we book a... This right, working out the maths. Maths with Kev. I need background music. So at the moment, we're 7 points clear of Tottenham on the same amount of games with 3 games to go if everything ends as it is. How is that mathematically? Oh, is it Liverpool who can't catch us? Of course, it's Liverpool who won't be able to catch us. But then City and Chelsea could. I still don't get how this is mathematically secure. I'm going to trust the game that it is. Perhaps we're relying on other results, but I don't think there's any other games happening right now. We have escaped a little bit there. Are there any other games happening? No, it's just us. I don't understand the maths of it. I'm sure I've gone on about it long enough now that several of you have already explained in the comments why my maths is flawed and why a win does get us in the Champions League. And I appreciate that. I thank you for that, because then I'll understand. But at the moment, but I did A-level maths and I don't get what's going on here. Football's too complicated. Perhaps it's something to do with the fixtures and who's playing who, and that complicates things, maybe. Who knows? It looks like Man United have won the league as well, or are winning the league. There's still 4 games to go in the Champions League inhabiting world of Man United and Arsenal on their different planet that they occupy. Right, Gwyndow, can we grab a third? Onomar is in. Oh, their keeper is having a bit of a nightmare today. Does manage to hold on to that one from the rebound, but he clearly doesn't want to play in the Champions League, although to be fair, as it stands, they're still in 4th place. But with Tottenham, Man City, Chelsea, even Brighton, all breathing down the necks. Brighton, I mean, there's no shame in losing to Brighton, I don't think. They're up in 8th place. It's fine. We'll let them have the FA Cup as long as we can have a Champions League finish. Like I've said all along, the important thing is that we get into the Champions League. Right, Gardner's been rubbish. Let's give Cesar yet another chance. Onomar also not playing very well, so we can bring on Edwards for him. Shall we make a third change? Shall we get Storaro on into that midfield? He can come on for Portanova. And we're already on counter-attacking. I'm wondering at what point we drop down to defensive. Probably 5 minutes or so. We'll drop down to defensive, and then if we can maintain this 2-goal advantage, contain, ease in our future, that's for sure. We desperately want to hold on, even though I don't understand the maths. I trust the game. When has Football Manager ever let me down mathematically? In theory, it shouldn't be able to. It's a game. It's a computer program. It shouldn't be able to get maths wrong. But they do have a goal back, and now the nerves are setting in with 20 minutes to go. I mean, we have dominated the chances of this game. 3 clear-cut chances to their none, but they have bettered us on just about every other stat. So they seem to be controlling the body of the game. We've just created better chances and converted some of them. But it'll all count for nothing if they go and grab an equaliser and or a win. Well, not or. They can't grab a winner without getting an equaliser first. I understand that element of the maths. I'm not that far behind. Right, Storaro plays Paulo Cesar in, who obviously kicks it straight at their keeper. Liverpool still haven't created even a half chance, but have mustered a goal out of somewhere. We've had 7 chances and only scored twice. Cesar scores! I told you he was good. We're going to keep him forever. He's a superstar. That might be the goal that gets us into the Champions League, which, to be honest, it doesn't matter if we let him go for free now, because if he's just scored the goal that gets us into the Champions League, then that's worth the £30 million he was worth this time last year, and probably then some. What an important goal that could turn out to be. And I think that is my cue to just drop back to defensive for the last 15 minutes and just try and not let Liverpool back in. 4 clear-cut chances, 4 half chances. They still haven't created a chance. They've had 3 shots on target in the entire match. Cesar to Gwyndow. Can he grab a 4th for us? Very close. That's 5 clear-cut chances. Now, I said Liverpool dominated the rest of the stats. They really haven't at this point. They've controlled possession, but done absolutely nothing with it. We've had more shots, more of them on target, more meaningful opportunities. Liverpool are just kicking the ball around in their own half, I guess. Which, I mean, feel free to do that for the last 8 minutes of the game to help with my blood pressure. So they've got better pass completion, but we're winning more tackles. We're winning far more headers. That paints a picture of they're just knocking the ball around in their own half and doing nothing with it, which, yeah, feel free, Liverpool. You are welcome to do that for as much of the rest of the game as you see fit. They are trying to build something here, and we need to get a tackle in. We are on contain, so I would like to think, oh, Svilar, what's he doing? What did Svilar do there? I don't even know what he was trying to do. What was he hoping to possibly achieve with this? If he just lets it go, it's not as much of a disaster as what he's done here. He's literally palmed that into the path of Firmino. We had 2 defenders who were covering Firmino. He had no chance of getting the ball if the cross had just come in. Our defenders are clearing that every single time. But Svilar decided to just hand it to him. I mean, if ever there was an incident where you want to look into illegal betting activity, it's that one. It doesn't matter, though, because we've won the match. So are we in the Champions League? I need to know. I'm so confused. We've defeated 10-man Liverpool. I don't remember them. They must have had a player go off injured. We've given Norwich some money. We've not qualified for the Champions League. What was that pre-match nonsense all about? I knew my maths was good. I guess it depends on the rest of the games today. So depending on what happens in the Tottenham-West Ham game and the Man City... I mean, we might qualify before the next episode, but the next episode will be our final one of the season, and it'll be Man United and West Ham, and that'll be coming up tomorrow. And then, fingers crossed, we will be celebrating Champions League qualification. Surely it can't go wrong from here. If you have enjoyed today's episode, please leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos, and thank you very much for watching.